What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Free Reign 6M podcast. Today we got me, Christian, and our good friend Donnie McQuitty from Righteous Tattoo.
What up, everybody?
Back in the building. He's been on with us before, so definitely excited to have him around again.
Thanks for having me again, guys.
How you been doing, man?
Been doing really good. Just keeping up with work. You know the
Yeah.
deal. Enjoying 2024 and all of its weird shit's got going on.
Mm-hmm. It's been a weird year already. How's the family and how's business?
Family's doing really good. Still homeschooling. Full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Still plan on doing it again next year.
Yeah.
Wife's doing really good. She's been...
And the kids like the homeschool?
They do.
They
do. I think at this point they really realize the difference between what they get to do and have as like their daily curriculum, the fun, once the school's done, it's the free day or whatnot, So you go to school, typically they're like there for 7, maybe 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Homeschooling is usually 3-4 hours a day, and it's pretty much everything,
Yeah.
done. So they love it.
And
so
they
far.
get a ton of time to focus on themselves.
Yeah, and they're not waking up at 6 or 7 a.m. They're getting up at like 9 a.m., 9:30, sometimes 10, and then we get school rolling, So it's been good. It's been good, yeah. The wife's doing really good. One thing she started doing is throwing these private events. Right now we got one called the Galentine's Day event. It's this Sunday.
Yeah.
And it had about 5,000 people interested in the post. And we sold out 225 tickets in less than 2 minutes. Yeah, it was crazy. We had no idea it would go that fast. I'm super proud of her. She's been working her butt off day and night. She has a business partner in it, another lady named Jessica. They're doing really good together. They got some visions for some big stuff they're going to be announcing and doing more this year. So just keeping up with all that and keeping up with school and keeping up with, the daily workload. But it's been good, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah, so straight out the gate, 2024 selling out events and shit.
Yeah. 24 selling out events. This is the first one. We have another one. It's going to be a co-ed one called Spring Fling. It's coming soon. We'll be announcing that soon. We have some guest artists that come in to help out. But like these events that she's doing is huge. Like it's a bunch of different boutiques thrown together. You got like Botox to hair, nails to, clothing. There's a mobile bar. There's food trucks. There's just like so much involved, plus tattooing. I think right now for this Sunday, we're sitting around like 180 tattoos that's already reserved to be done. So yeah, it's going to be a long, fun day.
Damn. So how much money do you make from that many tattoos?
Right now on this particular sale, we're doing one tattoo at 100 each, which is our shop minimum. So we try to keep it cheaper for everyone to try to get as many, that wanted to involved. Plus they're able to be shopping and hitting the boutiques or Botox or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But we're doing 1 for 100 or 2 for 150 per person. And I'm not sure of the amount. I'd have to ask Manny, but I'm not sure of the amount of people that signed up for the tattoos, but I just know we're sitting at like around 180 designs that have been picked. So some of those will be on, 2 on per person. But yeah.
That's a good stack of money.
Yeah. No, it's a good day. It's a really good day. It gives us all something to look forward to. Everyone has stuff going on in life for different reasons. So when you're able to make a good chunk of change in one day, it's really able to kind of keep you going. Another thing with the industry, like as tattooing as a whole, there's some different groups I'm in. You see a lot of people posting. I've talked to a lot of people from here, California, Florida, all over the place. It just seems like this year, all the way from beginning of, the winter slow months for us is usually around like October, November, it slows down. A lot of people are saying it's still really slow for them, like the slowest they've ever seen it. They're having a hard time keeping up. I've seen some big shops close already. And then some shops just kind of coalition together and create one studio to kind of take out some of that overhead. I'm not going to lie, and I ain't boasting or bragging, but we're doing full steam ahead. Like, honestly, we're doing really, really good. I'm booked solid. I have a waiting list of almost 200 people that's wanting to be tattooed, with deposit down, some with not. But, and then you add the events on it. So, again, we're just blessed, man. We're just going to take it for what it is and keep pushing as hard as we can.
Yeah. So through the slow months, typically slow months, and then a crazy 2024 already, you guys are kind of, rather than finding an easy way out, you guys are attacking and creating different
new revenues,
ways to. You guys are building community, building brand. and making sales because of it.
Yep. And like I said, there's a couple of big announcements to come. I'm not going to spill their beans yet, but the wife's working on something pretty big with her business partner. They'll be announcing that coming up soon, so it'll be something excited. Hopefully, obviously, I'll probably be back again. We can talk more into that depth when that happens. But there's definitely adapting to the new times, to what's going on, to what's going to work for our family, you know, and we're definitely not greedy, so we're trying to figure out ways for everyone to be involved. So like these events involves our entire studio, so everyone gets to flourish off of it, not just me or her or whatnot, you know. And again, we bring in so many boutiques and they all get to flourish off of it and have fun, and they're all doing their own thing too. But this one day event, like I said, 225 tickets sold out so fast that we had people literally sending all kinds of hate mail, pissed off, mad, angry. They tried saying that we rigged it. They were saying that tickets sold out faster than Taylor Swift's concert. Like, they were so pissed off. And I'm like, but it's limited. And it's limited because of the space we're in. We only occupy space that can hold so many people. And when that happens, fire marshals and all that gets involved. So we can't sell, 600 tickets for a room that only holds 100 people. So the way we're doing it is kind of running it in 3 different shifts. So we'll have like a 2-hour block, a 30-minute break, 2-hour block, 30-minute break, 2-hour block, so we can get everyone in, get everyone out, get everyone in, get everyone out type deal.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So all of us kind of knew that 2024 was going to be a crazy year. How far ahead did you plan for this shit?
I'm not going to say that I planned a whole lot ahead, other than the fact I knew there was going to be some quirky crap going on. I knew that money was going to be funny. Every election year, money's funny. Every election year, there's just wild shit that goes on in the news. Also, there's a few groups that I follow. I'm really into conspiracy theories and stuff, whatnot. And there's some groups that kind of been putting out warnings of what 2024 is to bring, and the economy and how close it is to like a reset. I'm not gonna say collapse because it ain't gonna just go away, but to a reset of what that looks like, to the presidential elections and what's going on with all of that. So in my mind, I've been prepped really well, really well. Obviously we got some stuff to fall back onto if we can't go to the grocery store for a month or something, things like that. But I would say prep wise, I felt like 2024 is going to be nutty. So we started prepping a little bit and then adapting. Like I said, throwing the events, doing things that are more going to catch the attention of the community and involve the community more, not just, hope the door opens and someone comes in. Like, we're actively reaching out and pulling people in and having fun doing it.
Yeah. That's badass.
Yeah. I was going to say, you were saying you've seen some other like bigger shops that are, having to close like in this time. How does that make you feel as far as like being able to stay open and kind of adapt like that?
It makes us feel incredibly humbled, blessed at the same time. Like we are doing something right. I feel like it goes back for many years, and not even saying that some of the bigger shops closed because of any bad reason, but some of these states, they might be paying $5,000-$10,000 a month in rent, things like that. And if you take a good hit in the overflow or the walk-in traffic, that's hard to come up with.
Right.
So I don't know all their exact reasons, and like I said, some of them have just kind of coalition together, creating like a really amazing studio with crazy big name artists instead of being so scattered throughout the state. They're in a location together. I think they're going to kill it. I think that was a way for them to adapt, figure out a way to get around it and over the hump. And honestly, I learned from them. I wouldn't be opposed to that if we came to that too, But it does make us feel humble. It makes us feel really blessed. I feel like being that I've been so genuine and transparent since day one and just never really worried about that hype or trying to be somebody I'm not. I feel like these are the times where that really shows. These are the times that the community is here to really support, and in times where some communities aren't there for whatever that reason is. But right now we're in a really good position, and we're just going to take every day. I know that nothing lasts forever, so we're just going to keep having fun with it until we move on to the next.
You think a lot of people are making those quick, smart adjustments because they learned something from COVID? Like that time period, they're like, oh shit, well, 2024 might be kind of weird.
Yeah, I could see that completely. COVID came out of nowhere for all of us and just threw everybody a wrench. We got shut down by the state for like 6 or 8 weeks. One of our other businesses ventures we had at the time, it got shut down for around almost 3 months, and then it never really came back from it. That was one that we had that we ended up having to close the doors on, about a year later. And but we also seen that it was a sinking ship, and if we wanted to keep trying to get the water out of the boat, at some point it was gonna bring everything down. So we just kind of had to make the right decision at that point to continue to put everything into the tattoo studio and not the other business, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think COVID did. I think COVID woke some people up to see that not only is a lot of the things that we have and do are really truly out of our control. People got to see that firsthand, you know. I mean, look at toilet paper. As funny as it is, you couldn't find a roll. Yeah. Now toilet paper is 10 times more than it was. You know what I mean? And people are like, damn, what is going on? They have complete control of everything. You have to be somewhat self-sufficient in this life or you're not going to make it, or you're going to have to do what they tell you and comply.
Yeah. So what types of things are you looking out for this year?
I'm looking out for some really extreme weather. As we've already been seeing, from like dense fog where states are getting hit with tornadoes left and right. Like Texas had part of their whole big state, there was like a flood going on. There was a snowstorm, blizzard, and tornadoes like in a different section, you know, at the same time. Florida's been getting hit, Alabama, Georgia. Tennessee got flooded, hasn't been flooded since like 1870 some or 1890 something, like this certain area, and it was underwater. San Diego was just underwater. We just had like this dense fog that reached like, I was like 15 states deep. Yeah. And I know some ain't gonna believe it, but there's definitely weather manipulation, and we've been seeing it heavy, you know, and I feel like there's a lot more to go with that.
Have you seen like some of the stories about like there's a whistleblower that came out here recently, and I don't know how recent, maybe within the last year and a half or something, but from the Antarctica shit.
Oh yeah,
there's a.
I'm big with
maybe look up
the beam.
I
got you.
Project Blue Beam. It's real. A lot of the stuff isn't put out to the public unless you go search it. Yeah. They have to put it out there. You know, there's a thing called like karma, if you will. And there's not like good karma, bad karma, but these people can't do everything just completely ruthless and evil at all times. They have to put it out there for us to see. So as long as they put the information out, they're not going to say, oh, look, here it is, but they're going to put it out there and we have to go find it and research it.
Well, it's kind of like Obama helping produce that movie that just came out on Netflix about the whole power grid going out.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of give us that information first. Like, hey, we told you.
Yeah.
You know, and then
and that is it. It's as long as they can tell us, and then instant cartoons, movies, video games, and all that. As long as it's put out there, then your mind has seen it. Your mind has kind of already went through it, and it's a lot easier for you to accept when it comes as you know, as in front of you. But as far as even going, just touching base on that movie, man, the first time we watched it with a couple friends of ours, and I'm sitting there just like, oh, look at that. Like there's so many subliminal images from their T-shirts they were wearing, you know, from like Obey NASA, what NASA really stands for, where it comes from. Like it's just so much in that movie. Yeah. And then I had a couple people that I follow that kind of debunked the movie and like the different symbolisms and what they were for and whatnot. And there was some stuff released that they were saying that when Obama had wrote this, the director got a hold of him to ask some questions on stuff, and he got back with him so quick with such detail that the director himself was like scared. Like, how does this even like come out of somebody, you know? And then Obama has a conference, and he talks about it just a little bit, and he says he learned most of it from being president and the things he learned in that. So
I bet.
It's like, that's pretty wild if you think about, you know what I mean? Like how much is going on every day that we don't even know about, you know, close to just like catastrophes or whatever it is, these major threats, you know, that these guys get to deal with and see every day that we have no clue that, you know, we're just getting up and, oh, the sun's shining, it's a great day, but yet we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, you know?
Well, there's a quote in that movie where they say, nobody's pulling the strings, like nobody's running things, basically.
Yeah, we all know that's a lie.
And then there's the Carrie Lake shit that comes out the other day, where the GOP chairman walks in her house and tries to bribe her, and saying that there's very powerful people that want her to do a certain thing, and they're back east, you know, Washington D.C.
Sure.
But Obama puts out this movie that he clearly had, you know, some involvement in writing it and everything. And he's saying that nobody's pulling the strings. So, you know.
Nah, I don't believe that at all. You know, even he has somebody he answers to, and you have like the 13 royal bloodlines that run this country or this world, and not even this country, this world. And
what is that?
The royal bloodlines date back to the beginning of, and they just control everything from big pharma to our food we take to schooling to, I mean, every single thing in this world that we have no idea about. But these 13 families are the royal bloodlines, and there is more than that, but that's the main 13 that they want to keep their bloodlines pure and royal, and they want to stay in power. They want to stay in the position that they're in, and the only way to do that is to suppress us, and we've all been suppressed so much that we have no clue about it. I mean, if you really want to think about it, think of this perspective: from your parents to their parents, that generation, and our generation, right? Our parents only know, for the most part, what they do or have taught us because of what their parents know or taught us, but they're not here anymore. So like everything has changed so drastically. Once we're born, we can be told anything and we're going to believe it, especially if our parents tell us or whatnot. Yeah. So every generation, they're able to manipulate more and more and more and take away things that used to be and add to and whatnot. And we have no idea. And then here we are now. We have the world's fattest population. Nothing against, people with that, but
facts.
It's facts.
Don't be fat.
We really do. Yeah. Like we literally have the world's most unhealthy population, period. And that comes down to the fact that big pharma ain't going to make money if we're all healthy. They're not going to make trillions of dollars. It's a trillions of dollars a year industry. And the only way to keep that going is for people to be sick. So if you have all of us suppressed and sick from the food we're drinking, food we're eating, to the stuff we're drinking, keeping us indoors, adding all this weather manipulation in there, like it suppresses us so much that they have complete control. So they are pulling the strings, whether you want to believe it or not. I mean, it's crazy, but just an example, like I really like this brand of spring water, Mountain Valley spring water in the glass. You could go and pick up 15 different bottles and brands of water, right? They all have different ingredients. It's supposed to be water, and most generally your mind's going to think, oh, I'm grabbing the spring water, it's good to go. Yeah. But like Glacier, I can't think of their last name, but there's one Glacier something, and they sell it like at Walmart in the big jugs. I used to buy it and drink it all the time until one day I kind of got just bored enough to look at the label and read it, and they add sodium to it. Why are they putting salt in the water to retain the water weight? Like there's so much to it. Yeah. So I think that I think that as a culture, as the world turns, like we're being suppressed so much more and more every day that you're either, some people will understand it and some will just go against it because to them, if they would understand it, they would question everything, and everything we've been told is a lie at some point. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, I feel like the world is in a dark place because we've allowed ourselves to be put there. We've allowed ourselves to have a string puppet master over us, pulling those strings and what goes which way. As soon as something comes out on the news, like right now, we could be sitting here having this conversation. Breaking news comes across. There's a hellacious storm coming in. Grocery stores are emptied out. Gas stations are emptied out. Like people start prepping for this, that, and they haven't even looked at the weather or have any clue of what's going on. But they're just going to listen to what they're told. And in reality, it's kind of a scary time we're in.
Yeah. Yeah, manipulation is a crazy thing.
It is, man.
On both sides, no matter where you look. I mean, you even see like the big time, full on Trump supporters. Like you'll see clips of people saying like he's like sent from Jesus and stuff, and like just like over the top shit. And then you see it on the other side too.
100%. Fear mongering is huge. I don't know if anyone knows what that is or has ever looked it up, but look up fear mongering.
You got Michelle Obama coming out and saying she's terrified of this election coming up, and what is that? Like that's trying to get people scared
of the election, what's to come with this or that. But
and then she'll pop out as a candidate.
Yeah, and every time every election year, there's always weird stuff going on. This team playing this team, trying to prove that this guy's so bad, trying to prove that this girl's so bad, but in all reality, y'all got skeletons in all your closets. There ain't no way around that. Politicians, I'm sorry to say it, but politicians play dirty to get to where they're at. You have to. That's the game it is, and then you go and put on your suit, smile for the camera, and act like nothing ever happened. I don't agree with it.
Yeah, manipulation, like I was reading something recently that was 30% of Gen Z identifies as LGBTQ. Yeah. That number has grown. Like if we were able to get a chart out, like that number has grown, skyrocketed up to this point. Yeah. And maybe there's different things that play a part in that, but I'd say manipulation, like the media just blasting it everywhere for kids to see. They're putting it everywhere.
And I don't want no one come at me for it because I'm not even going to get deep into that or my opinions on that. But I've read articles that even says that, you know, like certain foods have like way higher levels of like estrogen that is more known for like that men use or eat to raise their estrogen level and vice versa for women. And I do think that media there's a lot of different pulls in a lot of different directions. I'm sure that there are people that feel that way and believe that way and live that way. And I'm not knocking you for it, but I do feel like sitting on the outside looking in, like it's just another one of them things that's been manipulated since day one. And it's been in play for so long that it's gotten to where, like you said, around 30% now. You know, that didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight. That's been being pushed and prodded for quite some time to get to that point, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at a lot of the stuff you see nowadays, like they're always going after kids.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
The people that are most vulnerable.
All stuff. I'm gonna tell you, all this stuff starts with the kids. Cartoons are insane these days.
They have to start with the kids. They're not going to reproduce.
No. Yeah.
Well,
That's their only option.
And they're not going to know any different.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to sit there and attack somebody whose brain's already fully developed. You're going to go for the kids. You're going to put books in schools.
Most of the time, your grown adults already has their opinion, or they're set in their ways, or they've seen this long enough that now that this is changing, why is this changing? Kids don't know any different. That's kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, children's minds are so easy to mold and shape that I could go home and tell my kids from this day forward that the color red was never the color red. It was the color this color. And eventually they're going to believe me because I'm their dad and I've been pushing it so hard on them, you know. Eventually they're going to argue that point with everyone else too. The problem is most of the stuff that we're arguing is not facts.
Yeah.
And we don't even question it. We just, that's what so-and-so said, you know?
Yeah.
And if somebody's born gay, why do you have to do all this stuff to hype them up and make it
and that's
deal?
how I feel. Like
if they're already going to be gay, like why do you got to come after them?
That's how I feel. Like if you're born and you truly to your soul feel that way, then there is no need for all the other stuff. And with that being said, I believe that everyone is born with a soul, and you know, everyone is different in their own ways. So I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to get into that argument with anyone about born this way or born that way, or, you know, how that works, because I was born my way and that's the only way I know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like if they're, I wouldn't like argue that they're not born that way.
Me neither.
Like if you are born gay, I'm not arguing against it, but if they are, like, why do you need to try and force it on them?
Yeah.
Like
And there is some that don't. I think that goes back to what we're saying, like with those ones pulling the strings. You know, it's an agenda for them. It's not necessarily for every person that was born gay or whatnot. Like they could care less about some of that, you know. I have family that is, and I love them to death. Wouldn't treat them no different. Wouldn't think of them no different. But I also don't see him running down the street with a gay pride flag yelling at everybody that's not for it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're for it, cool. And if you're not, cool. And if you got a problem with him, he ain't scared to whoop you over it neither. Yeah. I mean, straight up. So, like, I have nothing but love for him. And honestly, I support him. Whatever he wants to do and how he feels, that's on him. I love him no different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it should be. So more on the manipulation. You guys know how much Pfizer paid Travis Kelce to do the shit he's
big old whopping.
Well, the first commercial.
No, I don't know that.
20 million.
Yeah,
$20 million.
Yeah.
So one of the best, most popular sports players can be front and center.
Sure.
Stage in front of
Sure.
all the kids that watch him.
Yep.
20 million.
Yep. I think there's a thin line in our lives where we have an opportunity. Not everyone does, depending on what your outlet is and, you know, what you're doing in life. But I feel like there's an opportunity where you can only go so far. Yeah. And you can only make so much. You can only do so much until you get this line where you're like, all right, it's time to have this meeting. You're either going to go this way and you're going to do what we say and what we want you to show and promote and do, and you're going to make this mountain of money. Yeah. Or you can just stay where you're at, or I'll just cut you at the knees and your career is over. And there's a lot of these guys that go for it, whatever their reason is. You know, I can say in my heart all the way to the core, it wouldn't happen for me. I'd laugh at them, you know. But I also am past the point of like money being my goal in life, or, you know, these things, materials. Like I just want to live happily. Leave me alone. Let me be me. Let me just enjoy the time I have with my family, you know. I'm not worried about everyone else, you know. So I'm not worried about what someone thinks. I'm not worried about if I have the newest shoes or the newest car or any of that. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, I could drive a bucket or I could drive something nice. It really does not matter to me, you know.
Yeah, That's great.
And it took me a long time to get there. Don't let me act like it didn't. I grew up wanting, the biggest thing like that. As a kid, we always do.
More.
Yeah. You want everything and more. Oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that. But I'm almost 40 years old. I've just kind of got to a point where it's like, if I can literally sit at home in the sunshine with a picnic lunch with my family, I'm ecstatic. I don't have to be
Love that,
in Italy to do so, or go on this vacation here to do so, or go to Mexico to Cancun to party for the week just to spend time with the family. I can do that anywhere we're at, and those things do come in life, and we do do a lot of adventures and have a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying bashing that. I'm just saying
they're just a little more focused these days.
Yeah, and I don't need all the other stuff
you can do all
around.
those other things at this point. You know, it's not the main. It's not the most important.
Can I go
thing.
buy a Ferrari? No. Would I love to have one? Yeah, it'd be fun. I mean, who wouldn't? That would be totally, awesome.
You could probably get one. You'd just be paying like fucking,
broker than broke. But,
a couple grand a month.
But it doesn't matter to me enough to even put myself in debt to try to do that. You know what I mean? That's just where I'm at. I'll rent one for the weekend somewhere and enjoy it and then never need it again. You know?
You did that, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
That's pretty badass.
That's what brought the Ferrari to mind. It's just, as a kid, who wouldn't want a super dope Ferrari, It was actually February of last year during the Super Bowl. Me and my wife went to Vegas just for the weekend, just to get away from being so busy at work. I wanted to have a little one-on-time attention time. So I said, let's go to Vegas. It's been some years and years and years. And we ended up renting a 488 Ferrari. Absolutely fun. We rented it for 24 hours. We went everywhere. People thought we were stars. I had people run up to me thinking I was a rapper the way I look. Not even kidding. You come out of the casino.
I guess Yellow Wolf. Yeah.
I would love that. But you come out of the casino and they pull up in your Ferrari, with it running ready for you, open the door for you, and people come up like, oh, who are you? Who are you? Want to know. And it's like, I'm just a tattooer from Kansas, bro. I'm just living life with the wife. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's badass.
But yeah, and with that being said, kind of my point to that is that was something, not necessarily that car, but like a supercar is something every guy dreams of, right? I had the chance to drive one for 24 hours. I haven't had the urge to go buy one since then. I got to taste what that tastes like. Cool. You know what I mean? Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah. But I think you're focused enough on growing and the things you're doing this year to where 15 years from now, you might have one.
It's possible, man.
But
you
it's
never
just
know.
You're not focused on that.
Yeah.
So
not
cool.
at all. Not at all focused on that, and could care less,
We were talking about Travis Kelce, so getting into some Chiefs shit.
Let's go
just
Chiefs.
Won the AFC Championship game. Again. Going to back-to-back Super Bowls. Hopefully we can get the win. Maybe let's get into a little bit of some of the...
Before we jump into that, I got a question for you guys, because this has been a big topic lately.
Yeah.
Is it rigged or not?
Is it rigged? I don't know.
Scripted?
I don't know. Football is just such a hard thing.
I'm gonna say off top, no. I think there are calls and there's certain things that refs can do as far as...
I think it'd be on the refs. If it was a thing, it'd definitely be a thing that the refs do. Because I think the players care too much about... they're in there trying to kill each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, like I said, a conspiracy theorist. So I've seen people that's really made really valid points that shows that it is. And I've seen people make really valid points of how it's not.
The Taylor Swift shit.
Taylor Swift, though, I'm not even going to lie to you. I was kind of a hater at the very beginning, to where it was just like, why are you showing her nonstop? But since I've kind of looked at it from a different perspective, I feel like, she has brought, I think they said, they released something, it was 60-some% of growth in the NFL for viewers from the age of 18 to 49 being female. Well, let's just all be honest. If mama wants to watch it, then we're going to watch it. If mama wants to go, then we're going to go. So that was a smart move on the NFL, whether people see that or not. And then just the other day, I seen something that said she's created somewhere like $370 million just for the Chiefs organization alone. Who can hate on that,
Where's it at? Oh, yeah, right here.
Taylor Swift has generated over $330 million in brand revenue for Chiefs in the NFL.
That's insane.
That's
nuts. And for anyone to hate on that, it's just goofy. Literally, you're just mad at home for no reason. And bringing up that picture you just brought up with her and Kelce. Another thing with that is they're big names in their industries, and them showing love for each other, her being at the game for him, whether it was for him at the beginning or it is now, whatever. if you're just sitting home hating on that, you're kind of teaching your kids like a bad example, in my opinion. I mean, he hasn't done nothing wrong to the girl. She hasn't done nothing wrong to him, meaning like they're not out here beating on each other, going to jail,
right.
you know, shit-faced drunk at the bars, like acting like clowns. Like, I mean, they're a love story that the public eye is getting to see, whether that has an effect on NFL or not, whatever that is. I just feel like, honestly, at this point in time, if you're just mad that she's being showed or she's there, you're just a hater. Yeah. And you're just hating because of whatever personal reason you got. I do too. I'm at that point now where I'm like, I don't care if they show her or not.
It's the Chiefs, man.
It's the Chiefs. Yeah, like who's not a fan of the Chiefs these days? Like even if you're a bandwagon fan, like even if she was never a Chiefs fan until she started dating Kelce, like she's gonna support her dude. So like, yeah. If you're sitting at home mad that she's there supporting her dude, you're teaching your kids like not to support your spouse, and that's shitty. In my opinion.
You think if they weren't together, Travis Kelce would have got that Pfizer thing?
Man, that one's a hard one. She's definitely got her name's out there with a lot of people. She's one of the biggest superstars with what she does. So honestly, maybe not. I mean, he is ranked like the #1 tight end in the NFL, so his name's big too. But I don't know. I think she's got bigger strengths.
They could have just had her do it.
Yeah.
You know, but like what's a more subtle way to get to it?
Yeah.
Just have her boyfriend do it.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I could see that. Yeah, no, I could see that. I totally could see that. And then he's going to look at it from a standpoint of, you said he got paid $20 million for the commercial. Like, he's looking at $20 million, you know?
Yeah. It all just happened so fast.
Yep. I can't hate on him for it. But again, that goes back to that, like, you're offered these deals and you got to make a decision what's going to work for you or your family, what you truly believe. What my soul tells me to do and his soul tells him to do is going to be completely opposite. What have I done it? No, but that's because I don't back Big Pharma. I'm completely against Big Pharma, 100%. I don't even take aspirin. I don't take Advil. I don't take allergy medicine. I don't take an inhaler. None of that. If I get a head cold, I'll take some natural remedies to get through it, and I get through it, no problem. Not even off subject, but I've been plant-based for like 6 years now. I haven't had the flu like that. I don't get sick like that no more.
You eat plant-based meat?
No.
Okay.
No.
You just eat plants?
That shit is more horrible than half the real meat. Yeah, no, I just eat like organic vegetables, organic fruit is 90% of what I consume. I say 90 because, of course, there is some processed in there. I might eat some chips from this or that. But even then, I'm reading labels. You know, there's a good brand, Canyon something, that they only have 3 ingredients in their chips. You know, it's potatoes, sea salt, and olive oil.
Yeah.
So if I'm having, if I want to have that, that's what I'm going to go for. I'm not going to grab a bag of Doritos with 60 some ingredients, But obviously that could be a whole nother podcast. I'm big into organic plant-based eating. I don't really try to identify as like vegan as much per se, just because it's a title. Yeah. I do believe that it does help the animals and whatnot, but I'm not like, that guy. I believe if people want to eat that and they raise it to do it, then do it cool. Do it right. But I just think that Big Pharma's got their hand in it so much that's the big issue. That's why I'm against Big Pharma. They're literally making us mentally ill and physically ill, and they're collecting, their pockets are just getting swollen, every day more and more from it.
So you think Pfizer should be allowed to pay an NFL superstar $20 million to advertise?
If you don't question how they are able to pay $20 million just to advertise for them, there's something wrong with you.
So you're not allowed to do it for tobacco.
No. Right.
Cigarette companies, Marlboro can't run commercials no more.
Right.
Right.
Which I think in that aspect is because they figured out other ways to do it, so they're still doing what they're doing. And they do have to, like, people finally got hip enough to be like, oh, cigarettes are horrible. So you only have a select so many that's doing it. And now here's the new vape. Check this out. No one knows what that's going to do to your lungs 20 years from now, 15 years from now. Like, there's going to be side effects to it too. You're entering something into your lungs, and people don't think of it that way because it's like instantly, well, this is the new wave. This is a lot healthier than this one. So people just jump right on board, And again, I'm not blasting anybody that does smoke them. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, I don't think Pfizer should be able to. I feel like any of those big companies that can afford spending crazy millions of dollars just for a commercial, question it. Why is that? Because guess who don't play any commercials on TV, but it's a probably billion-dollar company.
Rolex.
Yeah. They have a few here and there, but nothing big. They'll have some billboards or something.
They might do a Super Bowl.
Lamborghini doesn't have
commercial.
commercials.
Yeah.
Lamborghini said, because I'm not trying to sell Lamborghinis to the people sitting on the couch watching TV.
Yeah.
So why would I advertise there?
It's
But
a
then
waste.
you have Pfizer over here doing it, and they want everybody to see it. So I mean, it just kind of comes back to that motive of why. Why is this being shown to you guys, and why are you not questioning it?
All right, so continuing on the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, this report out of Valuetainment says Taylor Swift endorsement will influence 1/5 of American voters. She's
She has pull, man. She has power.
yeah, she's sided with the liberal media and whatnot in the past. A new poll found roughly 1/5 of American voters will support whichever 2024 candidate Taylor Swift endorses for president. In
That's
a study
wild.
conducted Redfield and Wilton Strategies for Newsweek, 18% of voters responded that they are more likely or significantly more likely to vote for a presidential candidate endorsed by the pop star billionaire.
See, and that just shows you right there, when you have that much money and that much influence, how it can change the directory of anything, the world, whatnot, in a snap of fingers. Man, that's wild. I didn't read that. That's wild.
Some 8 million additional Americans will be eligible to vote this season as they turn 18 years of age. A total of 41 million voters will be members of Gen Z, many of whom are heavily influenced by Swift and other stars of the entertainment world.
Wow. That's wild. I didn't read that article. That's crazy.
Says conversely, 17% of survey respondents said they would be less likely to vote for a candidate if Swift endorses them.
Yeah. But then that goes back to, again, of if there's so many people that will and then there's people that won't, that's just because of who she is. You're always going to have that that line of positive, negative, white, black, red, blue, whatnot.
I think it said September there was she swayed like 30,000 voters off one, or she got 30,000 people to register on vote.org from one post.
Yeah, from one Instagram post it says.
That's pretty wild. I mean, that's almost scary that people will allow someone else to influence them that much. Again, no one ever questions anything, like, at all. And nowadays, most people don't even have their own opinions on anything. They'll literally go with what the flow is. Oh, everyone's running that way. I'm going to run that way with not even know what's going on. That's just how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, so she could have an impact, and she's not the only one.
Oh, sure.
The left, liberal media has become so smart and good at manipulation and
That's what they've done for years.
marketing manipulation, whatever you want to call it. They're very good at just getting people to think a certain way, or getting the right people to say the right things.
Yeah, then people jump on a trend and follow. Trends are heavy.
Yeah.
Look at the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on that company at all. I read an article on them that said the whole reason this whole thing started for them, the whole Stanley Cup craze, was a lady's car caught on fire, burnt. It didn't burn all the way down or to a crisp, but it burnt up really well. And she, on her TikTok, pulls out the Stanley Cup and still has ice in it. And it was like a brown or a green color or something.
Okay.
So
I was thinking hockey.
Yes. No.
over here
The
thinking
little Stanley Cups.
Okay,
yeah.
I get you though. Yeah, the water. Yeah,
the water cups.
Yep.
And so the marketing of Stanley seen it and was like, hey, we got to jump on this opportunity. We see how many female viewers are going crazy about this, on TikTok and whatnot. So they decided, let's do a limited line, because limited is going to run out. It's going to create the demand. We're going to sell out. So let's run a limited line of colors for women, for holidays, for all that. They went from being an annual $75 million company to annually $750 million off that move. So did I go out and buy a cup? No. Will I ever pay triple price like people are for them? Hell no. But I have to respect the marketing move that this dude or female did for that company. That's insane. It's a trend. They jumped right on it. They put themselves into it, and now look at where they're at, as a company. That's crazy, but trends are huge, man.
Yeah, and that's normal. That's kind of normal marketing, but
Sure.
that's how easy it can be.
That's how easy overnight. Just
boom.
boom. Yeah. And that's how I feel kind of like some of that is with the endorsements of the superstars, the presidency to whoever they put out there. Oh, I endorse so-and-so. They know that you have such a following that you can create a trend like that overnight. It's just off of, like you said, like 30,000 people went and registered online to vote just because she made one post.
Yeah.
That's crazy powerful. If I make a post, I might get 5 likes or 100 likes, and that's as far as it goes. Ain't nobody going out and
going to
doing
do
nothing,
you.
you know what I mean? So it's like, that's some crazy power she has, you know? And people above her that's allowed her to have that power and has allowed her to build that power, at the end of the day, is going to have say-so on how she uses it too.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of that power. That kind of goes back to that choosing, you know, you can do this or you can do that, or, you know, and I'm not saying she did anything evil or wrong to be there because I don't know that backstory, but I'm going to tell you right now, you can't have that much influence, you know, and have that much power without pissing off some people along the way.
Yeah.
That's just facts.
So before we wrap up, the back into the tattoo world, what are the like if any conversations, like as you're tattooing, or do you hear things like, are people interested in this type of thing? And
as far as like the election and what's going on, we talk about so much, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, all different things. I might have a conversation with one person where they're, you know, completely against Trump, if we want to use him for an example, can't stand him, and they have a mile-long list of why they can't. I'm just tattooing away, listening to them, letting them vent, get it off their shoulder. Tattooers are like unqualified therapists for sure.
Yeah.
We literally let people just put everything on us. Sometimes we take it home with us, and it's hard to decipher through how to not do that anymore. Luckily, a lot of the times I can just leave it right where it stays and not really worry about it as much. But yeah, we have some wild conversations. I have conversations with people from that all the way to the fact that we're going to have some alien invasion this year.
Yeah.
You know, and the alien invasion is it's going to be all AI. It's not even going to be real, but people's going to believe it's real. You know, so who knows? Yeah, the conversations are crazy. Yeah.
So would you say people in that space are more liberal or conservative or independent, or?
I'm going to say, luckily for me, the mass majority, it's always one or the other, but where we're at, and we're close to a military base and whatnot, we have a lot of people that are more Republic. We have a lot of people, could be conservative. I'm not going to say I don't have any liberal, because we definitely do.
Yeah.
But it seems like mass majority is normally like Republic where we're at, or conservative, and they're more like for the country. They're for their family, the safety of their family, what's to come. You know, a lot of them tell me different techniques on ways to be more prepared for things that are to come. You know, I've had older ladies in my chair talking about it to young military guy talking about it. You know, so the wide range, it's crazy. Honestly, all walks of life. You know.
Yeah. Well, because I was going to ask too, because I know you've been out to Colorado, you've been out in California, down in Florida. Does it kind of differ from state to state on kind of like the tattoo culture around that?
I think so, yeah. I haven't been to California in a handful of years. I'm sure it's from what the news puts out there, you know, again, what they're showing us, it's a whole lot more left than it's ever been, and for the people there. But yeah, every state is different. I feel like it's kind of crazy how that is, but yeah, like you go to Florida and you're going to see all kinds of like Trump supporting stuff there. You drive to Colorado, you're going to see a lot there, you know. I haven't really been to a state that's like completely against or hates Republic per se, but I'm also not necessarily one that's like walking around with the American flag on my back, you know, whatnot. Not that I'm not proud to be American and proud to be who I am. It's just the fact of I'm also not looking to start an argument with someone or persuade them to be a certain way or something just because I am, you know. If the conversation comes up, I am not scared to talk on what my soul has made me believe or understand. But I'm also not going to just say, you know, oh, I see you're wearing, you know, a Biden shirt. I ought to rip that shit off. You know what I mean? Like, who does that? Like, there's people out there doing it, but like,
dude, if you can find somebody that's wearing a Biden shirt, I'll give you $100.
I know that's right. I'm not gonna lie. I've never seen it, but I'm just saying, if I did, I wouldn't just like try to go fight him over it, you know, or whatnot, because I don't care for that guy. But but I'm not gonna go out of my way to prove that point to anyone or try to bash it into them to make them change or whatnot. Like, if that's what you think, and cool, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Chances are I can out-survive you with no problem.
Yeah. So one crazy question I have, not really, I guess.
Ain't none of them crazy.
No, not really. Well, something we've talked about off podcast before is because I was wanting to get like a fucking blackout tattoo on my.
Yeah.
Have you seen anybody with like a fucking full body blackout?
Not full body in person, but I do them. I've done a couple sleeves, half sleeves.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's to cover old work and they just don't want anything else other than that. And then sometimes it's literally that's just what they want from the jump. Me personally, I really love them a lot. I've got some older tattoos that I would love to do that too.
Yeah.
I also, though, am someone who doesn't go with the trend. So, like, now that it's becoming so big and I haven't done mine yet, it's kind of made me hold back a little bit just because I don't want to be, the next poster child for this trend of blackouts. But personally, I think they look good. I think they're cool.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the biggest ways to rebel. I mean, you people don't like tattoos. Okay, well, I'm going to black this whole thing out. You know what I mean? And there's no hiding that. There's no way you're hiding that. So I just feel like it's a really good way to rebel. Some people have their own reasons, but personally, I like it for the rebellion side of it myself. It's not necessarily an art form to it. Now, there are guys out here and females out here that are doing like blackouts and then doing like white tattoos over it. Looks crazy cool the way it heals up. There is a science on the way to do it right, but like it looks awesome. So again, I think it's cool. I'm all about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'm all about doing them. So if you want some blackouts, holler at your boy.
How long does that take? Because you can't do it all in like.
Yeah, normally it's just kind of up to the person on what they can take. On a typical day of like blacking out, I would say like this is just for the mass of what I deal with. There are people that can take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. But on a typical, usually I could do like a forearm, inside of a forearm in one session and finish up like 2 sessions to do like wrist to elbow. And then like a third session, from elbow to about mid bicep. That's a pretty sore area. They get pretty good done. And then like another one to go up, maybe another one on the inside.
Yeah.
But that's to take your time and pack it really black. You don't want it to what we call holidays, which is light spots here and there. You don't want it to look spotty. You don't want it to be, if you're going to go full black, you want it to be full black. So it does take some time to do. But for me, like typical, like 4 to 5 sessions for a full sleeve, usually. And then I always throw a touch-up session in there towards the end just to go back through and refine.
Pretty cool. Hell yeah.
But even off of blackouts, that's typically what it takes any day. Like if someone wants to spend a full day with me, I can usually do most of a forearm from elbow down in a day, if not 2 sessions there, and then like 2 up top, maybe 1 on the inside. So like a 4 to 5 sessions and you're done. So sometimes we have guys that'll come in and females that'll come in and they might book 4 or 5 sessions, 1 a month, and they got full sleeves in 4 or 5 months. Bam, they're out the door and on to the next. And then you got people like I start a sleeve on them and I haven't seen them for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. They come and do a session, don't see them for some years, do another session, So it just kind of depends on what you can handle and what you can afford, I guess.
Hell yeah. What's the coolest person that you've done work on?
Coolest person that I've done work on is anybody willing to sit in my chair, spend some time with me, support my beliefs, my dreams, my family. I've done really fun tattoos. I've done tattoos that ain't so fun. I've done tattoos that got me sweating like crazy while I'm doing them, just because they're mentally, physically challenging, or my skill, it's challenging my skill as an artist. But overall, I really, truly, honestly, to my heart, I respect everyone and treat them all the same. So I haven't really tattooed necessarily like any like big multi-stars. I've tattooed a few people that's known for things. I've tattooed a couple people that's been on like TV shows and stuff just at different times. Like one time I was doing a guest spot somewhere and a lady I was tattooing was on one of the reality shows of like SWAT, and she was one of the main characters in the show. But that's what she did for a living. So to me, it wasn't like I was tattooing on some TV star. It was tattooing on a normal lady that this is what she does. She's a badass because she literally goes into prisons and she's on the SWAT team, like literally pulling people out that's wanting to flood their cells and stuff, you know what I mean? And she was like a petite female, so like that was cool. But again, I just treat everybody like they're the same. I'm not gonna give nobody no treatment. If Travis Kelce walked in right now wanting to get a Chiefs tattoo, I'm gonna treat him the same way as the next little lady that comes in. Boy. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna treat him the same though, as like just because you're a star doesn't mean I'm gonna go over or give you a free tattoo or offer you a glass of water. I'm gonna do that to everybody. You know what I mean? Here's a bottle of water. Here's what the process. I'm gonna explain all that. I'm not gonna treat anybody any different. That's just my opinion on it.
No,
I do see artists that are like that though. That's gonna go way out of their way for them. Oh, I'll open the shop at midnight and lock my shop down and all that. there's no need to do all that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to come and get a tattoo, it could be during business hours and it's not going to be a problem. Like, obviously, I'm not going to allow, a mass majority of people to show up and try to hound you or do any of that. And we can take proper actions for that. But if you're tattooing with somebody that's that big of a star, they probably already got a security team running with them, and
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be just fine,
Yeah. So if you weren't tattooing, what would you be doing?
Man, you know what? If I wasn't tattooing, I've been saying this for years, and I still in my heart feel this way and believe it. I would probably be running some type of a food truck or restaurant.
Hell yeah. What would you cook?
Plant-based all the way.
Yeah.
I would change the minds of people when they're eating, and they have no idea how good plant-based can really be and make you feel. I've gotten more into showing a lot more of what I'm eating on a daily, and that comes back to people actually messaging me like, hey, been seeing these recipes you're doing, or been seeing these lunches you're making, they look so good, it makes me want to try more veggies. So I'm like, oh, that motivates me to put some more out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like food can be art, like big time. Like, you can make dishes that are beautiful and are colorful and taste just as good too. So I would have to say, definitely, without a doubt, I would probably own, I say a food truck because I would love to like travel the country doing it. I think that would be a fun way to go about it, or like my own just small mom and pop restaurant and be the cook.
Hell yeah. Well, great fucking time.
Yeah, as
kicking it
always,
here.
man. Love to come back again.
Thanks for coming through.
Yeah,
we'll
for
have
sure.
to do it again and again. Get some more episodes rolling.
Yeah,
But
let's do it. Let's set up a podcast strictly off of food and diet.
yeah,
I
let's
think
do
that
it.
would be awesome. And
Yeah.
the difference between organic and non-organic and what that looks like and why that's that way. And I think that'd be a cool one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you guys
we'll do
for
it
having me.
again.
Yeah.
Everybody live your free reign.
Free reign.